Hey everyone, it's me, Teresa from healthyveganlife.com, and today I'm going to be making a video about cravings on a vegan diet. Now, I think we've all been there, having terrible cravings for foods that you did not want to eat, but then you kind of wanted to eat them, but you didn't want to eat them, but you kind of wanted to eat them. You know what it feels like. And when you've just gone vegan, it can be very difficult to avoid temptation. I remember I find it very difficult to give up white chocolate, and cheese in particular was a very difficult one for me. I also kind of missed fish, but you can totally do it, and I have a few tips for you that I hope will help you to avoid cravings and to stay strong and stay on the right path towards being vegan, if that is your intention. Now, the first tip I have for you is to keep your blood sugar level relatively steady. Now, what happens when we eat something is the blood sugar level goes up and then after a while goes down again. And this is good, but depending on the kind of food you eat, your blood sugar level responds differently. So when you eat something that is very refined and has, like, for instance, a lot of processed sugar, white sugar, and no fiber, your blood sugar level peaks like this. It goes up like crazy, and then afterwards it crashes and goes like this. And in that crash, you're very likely to get a craving for some reason. So what you can do instead is eat foods that keep your blood sugar level more like this. So those are foods like whole grain products like brown rice, whole wheat bread, corn, beans, legumes, fruits and vegetables. If you make sure that you are eating mostly those kinds of foods, I'm not saying you can't have treats, but if you're eating mostly those foods and center your diet around those, then you will not have those crashes and you will have less cravings than you otherwise would have. Tip number 2 is always carry vegan snacks with you. Now, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, you might have a plan for your day, but then something goes awry and something will be different. You never know what's going to happen, so it's good to always make sure you have something with you. Maybe you like to bake your own foods like I like to do, and then pop something out of the freezer every morning and take it with you in your bag, or you can stock up on vegan energy bars and cookies, biscuits, fruits and vegetables. Just make sure you always have it in the house and then always have it in your bag as well. Tip number 3 is transition with alternatives to the non-vegan foods that you used to love. So if you used to be crazy about cheese, just have some vegan cheese instead. These are usually not the healthiest foods. I know that in Holland, a lot of the vegan meats, like the vegan kinds of meats that are really very much like actual meat in taste and texture, are usually kind of like, they have bad ingredients and it's kind of crap. But if that is what you need to stay on the wagon, by all means make sure you have that stuff around. You don't have to be totally pure and totally healthy, especially in the beginning. I think it's mostly important that you give yourself a little bit of a break now and again, and just make sure that you have some treats, things that remind you of the foods that you used to enjoy when you were not vegan yet. And that just tastes really good and don't make you feel like you're in prison, like in a vegan prison where you can only eat super healthy, unexciting maybe to you foods. It is going to be less exciting in the beginning, but after a while you'll get used to it, I promise, when you eat more healthily. But in the beginning, when you're transitioning, just have some vegan substitute foods and you might feel much better. Now, the last 2 tips that I have are more about the psychological ways of dealing with cravings. So number 4 is find better ways to deal with stress and anxiety. So oftentimes, many of us are emotional eaters. We don't eat because we're actually hungry, but we eat because we are afraid, we are sad, we are angry, we're really happy, whatever. It can be whatever. I know that I certainly suffer from this from time to time. And so what you can do instead of grabbing some kind of junk food or some kind of bad food or some kind of non-vegan food that always makes you feel like happy inside, is do something that actually helps you get rid of that stressful feeling at that moment. I'm going to share 2 different ways of dealing with stress with you right now that are very easy, and I think anyone can do this. So the first one is breathe your way back into relaxation and also self-control. So what you do is you breathe 4 to 6 times a minute, so that's 10 to 15 seconds per breath, and you can practice this. And then just focus on the breathing, don't think about anything else, just breathe peacefully like that. Just a few minutes of this technique can help you feel calm and in control of yourself and capable of handling cravings. The second really easy technique that you can use is to go outside for 5 minutes to enjoy Mother Nature. Now, you don't have to do any strenuous exercise for this to work. You just go outside, make sure that there's some greenery. You know, I don't know how much this will work in like a city where you can only see buildings, but if you see some greenery, see some trees, and just walk around or work in the garden for a little bit for 5 minutes only, you'll find that you become more relaxed, more at peace, and much better able to deal with your craving. The fifth and final tip that I have for you is to forgive yourself. Now, this might seem a weird one, but chances are if you've just gone vegan, you will eventually screw up and give in to temptation. And the thing is, oftentimes what we do when this happens, when we are disappointed with ourselves and we've failed like a challenge that we've set ourselves, we feel really bad about it and really guilty, and we beat ourselves up, and we think that this will help us to not do this again and not make the mistake again. But on the contrary, actually doing this, feeling so bad and so guilty and beating ourselves up, makes us feel really stressed out and really anxious, and this actually leads to more of the behavior because we're stressed out, which leads to cravings, leads us to emotionally eat. So instead of doing this, feeling so bad and being so tough on yourself, the best thing to do is to acknowledge that you've made a mistake and that you didn't want to do this, but you still did. And then forgive yourself and, you know, be kind to yourself like you would be kind to a friend. Oftentimes we are much nicer to friends and family members than we are to ourselves. And make a plan of how you will avoid this mistake, making this mistake in the future. As it turns out, this really works, so I hope you will give it a try. In case you didn't know yet, I do have a recipe ebook that has lots of recipes that will help you on your journey. The recipes are really easy, they are made with whole foods, and yeah, I think you should check it out. Link in the description box. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed these tips. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments, and I will see you very soon again. Bye. The first tip, ow, hit myself. I hope you will give this a try and be nice to yourself, because you deserve it. I don't know if you deserve it, maybe you're a jerk.